been a while. I've gone past my timely burnout and I think I'm ready to take on another devlog's worth of work. And let's just get back into it. In the last devlog, I showed you guys gameplay of the game at the end, but it was just this bad mess of pure lag and bad frame rate. So I just went into the monitor inside of the door and saw that there were over 100,000 orphan nodes, and it was gradually increasing as the game went on. Nodes are just Godot's building blocks. They can be assigned as the child of another node, resulting in a tree arrangement, and a given node can contain any number of nodes as children, and all nodes has to have a parent other than the root node, which is the starting node. Orphan nodes are just nodes that do not have parents and therefore disconnected from their root node, so they are kind of outside the scene, even though they do exist. So I just dove into the code with my optimization toolbox or something and just searched through to find what the problem was. And I saw this snippet of code. What it does is to work out the player respawn, but it had a fatal flaw. Basically, if a player dies by getting their health to 0 or falling out of the world, they get deleted from the scene, but they need to get respawned, right? So easy, we just throw in another player. Well, yes. What this game does is to load a copy of the player outside the scene, even before the existing player dies as an orphan node, and then when the player does die, we just put the copy into the scene. But the mistake in this is to put the loading section of this code in the process function, which is executed every single frame. So players are being loaded in the background as orphan nodes every single frame, therefore killing my poor 10-year-old laptop. It was pretty easy to fix this, and I did, and the game can maintain on average a very nice 60 FPS. Now what I need to get done is the character selection system into the game. And when I started work on that, I realized that I had kind of made all of this too big and too complicated. It's not that I don't think I'll be able to figure out these complex things that I'll have to overcome to finish this, but it's just that it just doesn't feel very appealing to me. It just doesn't feel the fun kind of challenging. It just feels tedious. So what I did was to just get rid of all the current plans for the game and start from almost scratch. I decided to not work on characters and just make the game about 4 squares fighting to the death, and overall just simplify the scope of the game. I just copied back an older version of the game to go back and kind of start from scratch, and now let's actually start working on the game. I copied over the optimized player respawn code and then got to work. One of the problems that exist in the game right now is that if player A hits player B and player B gets knocked back and falls out of the world, player A doesn't get any points, even though player A is the one who defeated player B. This also makes falling out of the world a really easy way of gaining your health back without any penalties. So I just fixed this problem by adding an additional area that checks for the insecure area at the bottom of the world. I was kind of stuck at this point since all my plans for the game had been ditched, and I just took one look at the stage I've been using and I got it out. I got to work on the players' sprites first. The players will remain as squares, but I'm going to change their appearance just a bit to add a bit more polish to the game. I think that the sprites look okay, but you can be the judge of that though. I also worked on the attack animation because from the little start of the game, we've had this gray rectangle to represent this actual slash or whatever. I set this both up in the game and it seems to be working pretty nicely. I then worked on a bit for the background for stage 1 because right now it looks really empty. I'm pretty iffy on the final result, so if you guys have got any better ideas, then I'll appreciate it if you leave them in the comments. Then I got to work on the UI, more specifically the main menu. Right now it's just a placeholder and it's just this bland, empty wasteland of nothing. So I made a bunch of buttons and added them in, but I noticed that the background's blandness stood out too much, so I just copied the textures that's on top of the buttons and slapped the name of the game on it and just made that the background. And yes, I finally came up with the name. Again, I'm not finalizing anything yet, so suggestions are welcome. I actually really do need to make an actual background for the main menu because right now it just kind of doesn't really fit into the game, but I'm just going to just leave that there for now. And that's about it for now. Anyway, if you liked this video and would like to see more of it, then consider subscribing. It's free and it helps me out a ton. If there's something that you'd like to let me know, then just jump down into the comment section and just throw in a comment. So, until next time, I guess. Bye.